Okay, it looks like we're on now. Hello, I hope this video finds you well. What we're going to do today is we're going to cover a little bit about genetics, and we're going to do it in a very fast and easy way. So to begin with, if we think about genetics, why should you care? Why should I care? What the heck are genetics anyway? So let me begin with that. Genetics, if you were to Google this, you would find an entry on Wikipedia that reads, genetics is a branch of biology concerned with the study of genes, genetic variation, and heredity in organisms. Though heredity had been observed for millennia, for thousands of years, Gregor Mendel, a scientist and Augustinian friar, which means he was a priest, working in the 19th century, the 1800s, was the first to study genetics scientifically. So what the heck does this guy have to do with my life? I mean, I know a little bit about him, and I know that I know that he studied pea plants and he was growing peas, like way too many peas. So how does this help me in life? Well, that's the reason why I'm making this video. This is a story, and this is my own story. I had personally studied biology at Central Falls, and then I went into college and I studied biology even more, particularly genetics, but nothing could have prepared me for what happened. So on April 14th, 2004, my first son was born, and I had no idea that this 6-pound wonder would change my world so much. And you might be asking yourself, really? I mean, all children change the world, right? But this one rocked me to the very foundation of who I am. He became my little Buddha. Hence, I have the little picture of the Buddha here. So this is Isaac. And like all parents, I expected that he would be an upgrade from who I am. He would be the better wrestler, the better scientist, the better trumpet player, the better soccer player. I mean, why not? He could even be the president. But he did have some peculiar things about him. One of them was he had small or slanted eyes, and I wondered, who did he look like? Who looks like that in my family? Well, it turns out that Isaac has an extra chromosome in each of his cells. And this chromosome, as you already know, is made up of DNA, and the additional genetic material therefore alters what the body looks like, the phenotype in people that have Down syndrome. Some of the common traits that people that have this extra DNA include are low muscle tone, small stature, the eyes are slanted upwards, sometimes there's a single crease on the hand rather than multiple. Not everybody has all of these, and some of them have more marked than others. So I was still confused. I mean, I understood in school what trisomy was, trisomy meaning 3, but what did Down syndrome mean for me and my family? So as you can see in the background here, we have some pictures of the chromosomes. This is called a karyotype, and the chromosomes are listed by the length. So from number 1 as being the biggest and number 22 being the smallest. And in this case, something very special about chromosome 21. It turns out that people like my son, instead of having 2 versions, one from my mom and one from your dad and your mom, my son has 3 number 21 chromosomes. So how does that normally work? Well, in a typical normal division, you have 46 chromosomes in every cell in your body, except for your sex cells or your gametes, in which the chromosome count gets split into half, because 23 of the chromosomes, or 50% of your DNA comes from your mom, and 23 chromosomes, or 50% of the nuclear genetic information comes from your dad, giving you 46 total chromosomes. But in the case of someone who has Down syndrome or trisomy, 3 chromosomes, 3 autosomal chromosomes number 21, what you end up having is you have a mistake. The body normally checks to make sure that you have at least 3 chromosomes. And in this case, it does have at least 23, but it has one more. There was what they call here a non-disjunction in that chromosome. So when this split, this particular egg ended up with 24 rather than 23 chromosomes. And that meant that this fertilized egg, this embryo, the zygote, would end up with 47 total chromosomes rather than the normal or the average 46 chromosomes. And if you look here in the bottom, you will see this is what chromosome 21 looks like in a normal person, in a person that's got 2 versions of it, and here it is in a person that's got 3 versions of it. So that's basically what it is. We have 21 here, and then we have 21 here. Let's go on. Because he had Down syndrome, it turns out that he had some of the other characteristics that a lot of people with Down syndrome have. One of them, and perhaps the most painful one for us, was the fact that he had a heart condition. He had a congenital. He was born with a heart condition that needed surgery. And it was probably the most difficult moment in my whole life when I had to give him up, had to hand him over to the nurse to see my son's chest open, to have his chest open and his heart fixed through surgery. I cannot be thankful enough for the fact that our medicine is so advanced that they can make that happen for him. And there he is a couple of days after the surgery, just fighting like a champ. So after that, our family grew a little bit, and Isaac was joined by his younger brother, Nicholas. And there's my wife and Isaac. My wife was pregnant at the time. And they're brothers, and I'm not exaggerating when I say they're best friends. But like all siblings, they have differences and they have similarities because genetic differences occur even when people have the average number of chromosomes. And so, for example, Isaac loves wrestling. He loves the Muppets. He loves Weird Al. He loves pizza. He loves music. And Nicholas loves soccer. He loves steaks and chocolate. And he also loves music. So there's some similarities and some differences between them. But it's no surprise that they love each other. In fact, it's no surprise that we all love each other in our family because the extra 21st chromosome does not determine love. It determines some physical characteristics, including some developmental and mental aptitudes or capacities, but it doesn't mean anything when it comes to love. And so approximately 1 in 700 babies in the United States is born with Down syndrome, and that equates to something like 6,000 babies a year are born with Down syndrome in the United States. So in closing, there are a couple of things that Isaac has done for me. Isaac has changed the way I thought about people that have disabilities. I did not know anyone who had disabilities before him, and he has done more than I thought possible. Isaac knows how to read, and he knows how to play video games really well. He also, as a testimonial, he made me into a teacher. It was his birth that changed my career choice and allowed me to become a teacher. And what's next? Well, I think for now, Isaac will continue to be my little Buddha. He just last month turned 16, and I want you to become aware of this. Knowing science makes you powerful, and that is really important. So when you think of the information you're learning now, it's not so much about memorizing what happens, but it's really being able to critically analyze and understand it. Because right now we live in a world that more and more science is engaged and incorporated into our daily lives. Therefore, not knowing science makes you vulnerable to be oppressed. That's why we learn science. And I would just leave you here with a couple of pictures of my boys and my wife here. So clearly Isaac over here with his brother Nicholas, and here they are. They're both high school students right now. They're both freshmen in high school. I hope that this has been helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions and talk to your science teacher if anything else comes up. Have a great day.